A while back I talked about X-Greed, Doom World member Javal's source port of long-forgotten shooter In Pursuit of Greed. Well, it's no coincidence that I'm covering another one of their creations today. I recently played Radix Beyond the Void, and I had a merry old time flying about the first few levels, blowing up the opposition and listening to cool rock and techno tracker music. I'd never heard of the game before, and it caught me by surprise as a result. When that happens, I tend to investigate a little deeper into the history behind the game and what has happened to it since. Because of its similarities to both Doom and Descent, I immediately went looking to see if a source port had been created. Had this been a few years ago, my search would have been fruitless. But thankfully that's no longer the case. Turns out that Radix is very like Doom, so much so that Javal had his Delphi Doom source port read the Radix 2.0 data file and remake the game entirely in id Tech 1. Why 2.0 of Radix? Because there are significant enough differences between that and the original that the team at Neural Storm called it a remix. Most notably, there are some level alterations and changes in how you move, with your craft stationary by default instead of constantly heading forward. RAD takes it a step further. With widescreen resolutions, the choice of true color software rendering or OpenGL rendering, a textured automap to help you navigate the huge levels, the ability to load and save and store screenshots, and have a high score table to prove just how radical you are at Radix. Most of the best features of Delphi Doom in general have been integrated into the game, so you can change things on the fly and to your liking, essentially converting the entirety of Radix from a Doom-like into an actual id Tech 1 game. Welcome to the family! What makes this even more impressive is that despite looking like Doom, Radix had significant differences that Javal needed to address. Going up and down became a thing, the opponent AI had to be reprogrammed, destructible environments had to be added, and many other little bits and pieces to make it seem more like you were playing Radix instead of Doom with a Radix texture pack. The creator openly admits that the physics are significantly different from the original, so former players of Radix are gonna have to get used to that. But after haphazardly piloting my way through levels with both the original release of Radix and the latest version of RAD, I found the alteration wasn't jarring in the slightest. The most important change, we've gone from a 2.5D game to a fully 3D environment for you to fly through, without any terrible texture warping or confusing perspectives. With the 2.0 remix polishing the game and the source port providing all the nice technological enhancements made over the last 30 years, this underrated shooter is finally ready to garner some brand new fans. And that's what I love about source ports in general. Because it was hamstrung by the limitations of its time, Radix would have been a hard sell to players in the 2020s, but if the former developers of Neural Storm and Union Logic banded together and got this version of the game on Steam, it would undoubtedly sell plenty of copies. Plus it can play Doom WADs. Look at it go! Now, let's get this on the marketplace. Who was that publisher again? Oh, never mind.